Finland, land of 1,000 lakes and eternal forests, a land of log cabins and Orthodox churches, a midsummer's dream in the extreme north of Europe. Home of reindeer and Sami, an ancient and enigmatic people. Helsinki, daughter of the Baltic, the Gibraltar of the North, a dividing line between East and West, and a modern and liberal-minded metropolis. Founded in 1550 by Swedish King Gustav Vasa as a trading centre, and in 1812 Tsar Alexander The First made it the capital of the Principality of Finland. The city's new look reflected the power of the Russian Tsar, as highlighted by Helsinki's splendid cathedral. A disastrous fire destroyed all this area's original wooden buildings. However, an extensive reconstruction program was subsequently introduced. Another landmark is Uspensky Cathedral, situated at the city's southern harbour, the largest Russian Orthodox church in both Western and Northern Europe. Built in 1868, according to traditional Russian design. The Olympic Stadium has for many years been a symbol of modern-day Finland. It was here that Paavo Nurmi, the long-distance runner, became a national hero. The monumental Parliament building and the castle-like National Museum. And, almost completely hidden, an extraordinary House of God, the Rock Church, plus the main train station and its impressive lamps. Finland's most important composer, Jan Sibelius, also has a monument dedicated to him. It's located in a riverside park. The Market Square is a lively place, and the old Vaha Kauppahali Market Hall is situated on the edge of the Market Square, next to the quay, a magnificent building. The city's southern harbour is always busy. Here, huge ferry boats embark for Stockholm and Turku. Helsinki is closely associated with the sea. Suomenlinna, one of the largest fortified complexes in Europe. In 1748, the Swedes began to construct a huge fortified complex on the 6 islands just off the coast. It took around 40 years to create this defensive bastion that was also home to the coastal fleet. But this tranquil scene is deceptive, for in 1808 the Russians attacked. They continued to build the fortress. Around 10,000 people lived here at that time. In 1855, several days of cannon fire terrified the city's population. 70 battleships of the Franco-British alliance destroyed the fortress. Fortress Finland has since been designated as a World Heritage Site. Turku is the oldest city in Finland, the country's first capital city from where the Finnish culture was born. It's still evocative of the Middle Ages. Turku was founded in around 1160, and in 1229 the Pope made it into a holy see. The Swedish king ordered that a fortified camp be built, both to protect the city and to be a symbol of secular authority. It was later transformed into a castle. The cathedral is one of Finland's historic treasures. Some time ago, its furnishings and tower were destroyed by fire. The location of the city did much to help it prosper, and hospitals, monasteries and universities thrived here. In 1827, most of the city's timber-built houses were destroyed by fire. However, the city was subsequently rebuilt. "15 kilometers northwest of Turku is the small town of Naantali that once featured a monastery of both nuns and monks. With the eventual closure of the monastery, the city went into decline. Pilgrims stayed away, and maritime trade was prohibited. The town's second high season began in the 18th century, when Professor Elfving discovered the healing effects of the local spring water. This marked the beginning of a long period of prosperity for Naantali as a health spa, during which some of the city's most beautiful buildings and promenades were built. A pleasant stroll through lanes full of beautifully painted timber buildings evokes the captivating ambience of bygone times. As well as being the summer residence of the Finnish president, Naantali is one of the most popular holiday destinations in Finland. It is attracting a growing number of tourists. An enchanting combination of lanes and idyllic wooden houses situated close to the sea. The sea, a magnificent island landscape, and picturesque timber houses are typical of one of the oldest cities in the Gulf of Bothnia, Uusikaupunki. It was here in 1712 that a peace treaty was signed between Russia and Sweden, and this small, quiet town has a long maritime history. The rectangular and clearly defined street plan dates back to the time of its foundation. Mill Hill contains a fascinating array of windmills close to the city centre, within a well-laid-out park. Many years ago, the people who lived here discovered the benefits of the wind that blew incessantly from the sea. Thus, mills were used to grind the grain for the inhabitants of this region. Rauma was built by local seamen and traders around a natural harbour. It's the third oldest city in Finland. The ancient town of Rauma has the largest area of timber-built houses in all of the Nordic countries. The oldest date back to the 17th century. Its narrow lanes are covered in cobblestones and have a museum-like character, even though the houses are still inhabited and include modern shops. The old town has 600 buildings and covers an area of 28 hectares. It also contains numerous small shops, domestic houses and a market. Due to the fact that it's a first-class example of a lively, well-preserved town of old Nordic wooden houses, the town has been designated by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site. As the end of the 19th century was a highly successful time for the city's economy, the facades of its houses were fully refurbished. It's therefore not surprising that the local inhabitants are proud of their picturesque surroundings. The sun route to the north leads to a peninsula and the sandy beach of Iteri that stretches far out into the sea. The long sandy beach is lined with sand dunes and is one of the most beautiful on the Baltic coast. It's reminiscent of the Mediterranean. An excellent place to relax and enjoy the sunshine. A splendid landscape, surrounded by several small rocky islets. The 400-year-old coastal town of Vanja Vasa was founded by the Swedish king Karl IX of the Vasa dynasty. Several wars destroyed the old town. Only 2 buildings survived, and eventually the harbour became unnavigable. These ruins stem from the early beginnings of the settlement, and it was subsequently necessary to establish a new town 6 kilometers further west. This new settlement was established at the beginning of the reign of a Russian Tsar. It was thus named Nikolaistad. On the periphery of Vasa is an open-air museum. The Braga Garden features traditional buildings of rural Botnish culture. The buildings were originally of timber construction. Only churches, monasteries and fortresses were built from stone. Wood gradually rotted away or was destroyed by fire. Therefore, few buildings have survived to the present day. The historic town of Pietarsaari is called Jakobstad by its Swedish-speaking inhabitants, after its founder, Count Jakob de la Gardie. In 1652, the Count was given the right to establish a town here, but shortly afterwards he died. It was left to his widow to complete the work. Well preserved to the present day, the town's inhabitants built a church and a large number of timber dwellings. Their religious faith made the people strong. Thus, through the centuries, they brought much prosperity and prestige to their beloved town. The town established itself due to the production of timber, tar production, shipbuilding and navigation. For Finland, the ships of Jakobstad opened up new trading routes all over the world. Further north is a town of seafarers and traders, Kokkola, of which the old town boasts the largest number of timber-built houses in Finland. The cleric Anders Chydenius once lived here and laid the foundation of liberalism, the freedom of both religion and trade. The residential district contains a number of small parks and fountains. Legend has it that the dead were kept in the cellar of the Katarina cemetery in the winter months because funerals took place only during the summer. The nearby Katarina Square is dominated by a sculpture, the Seals. This old school is a fine example of Finnish Art Nouveau. And this Protestant Lutheran church is the third to be built on this site. The first was too small, and the second was destroyed by fire. House number 22 was once inhabited by Britta Johanna Albach, who followed her husband into war to care for his well-being. The tin plates attached to the houses confirm that they were once insured for fire. This British boat was a prize of the Crimea War. Oulu is the provincial capital and provides a final opportunity to experience the atmosphere of a Finnish city prior to entering the remote landscape of Lapland. The sixth largest city in Finland is also the religious center of the province. The cathedral highlights the architecture of Carl Ludwig Engel. The timber frames of these buildings were destroyed by fire and only the stone walls survived. They formed part of the new buildings. The central dome, ceiling and tower were rebuilt, this time in neoclassical style. Oulu is the flourishing center of northern Finland. Along with its many green areas, this city by the sea comes alive during the spring and summer months. Despite the harsh climate, tropical plants are popular here. The local people enjoy the exotic vegetation. Tropical flair in the extreme north. The cultural life of Finland begins with the first warm days of the year. Various events and festivals take place that attract many people from the surrounding area. A short journey inland leads to Muhos, that contains the oldest timber-built church in Finland. Its highly decorative pulpit is crowned by trumpet-playing angels who carry a triumphal flag as a reminder of the 30 Years' War. The altar painting by Emanuel Granberg was created in 1778 and features a motif from the Old Testament, Moses and the snake. This timber-built sacred building was completed in 1634. It can seat a congregation of around 500. Renovated in 1872, the design of the ceiling was based on that of Gothic vaults. Finnish Lapland is a region covered by forests and marshland, a land of adventure at the end of the world. The hilly landscape of the spacious Pallas Ounastunturi National Park is located in the northwest, close to the Swedish border. Yellow-green reindeer moss and dense layers of many additional varieties grow on the seemingly endless hills of primeval stone and gneiss. The plant life of this region always surprises those who encounter it for the first time. Its rich variety is totally unexpected. Nevertheless, Lapland is full of charm and is one of the last untouched landscapes on the continent of Europe. The Lemmenjoki National Park, situated on the upper part of the river of the same name, is a unique and wild natural wonder. Measuring 2,855 square kilometers, it is the largest nature reserve in Lapland. Striking red boats take sightseers on an adventurous journey to various remote locations in this amazing wilderness. The green, shimmering water of the spring flows down the rocks and forms small pools prior to it being transformed into an 80-kilometer long river. This area was once the haunt of many gold prospectors, but gold is now so sparse here that it's no longer a profitable pursuit. Further down the river, the boat trip becomes more exciting. We return to our starting point, back in relative civilization. At over 70 kilometers, the Lemmenjoki is the largest river in this region. A captivating and unspoiled natural landscape. A tiny paradise north of the Arctic Circle. Inari's largest tourist attraction is Siida, an open-air museum of the Sami culture that was inaugurated in 1959. Various exhibits demonstrate how the people of the extreme north once lived. They hunted, fished, and bred reindeer. Life was hard and determined by the harsh climate. The people here once lived a nomadic life. Since primeval times, Scandinavia has been the home of the Laplanders, or Sami as they are now known. Their supplies were stored in small huts on stilts that were accessible by way of a steep ladder. It's believed that the ancestors of the Sami were Neolithic hunters from Central Europe who traveled north at the end of the last ice age. They settled in primitive huts and bred pigs and sheep in addition to reindeer. Alongside their reindeer, they withstand the harsh winters, the number of reindeer owned by each family being an indication of their wealth. A proud and self-confident minority that respects the time-honored traditions of their ancestors. With over 3,000 islands, Inari Lake was once a sacred place for the region's local inhabitants. Inari is the Sami's most important village and is located on the shores of Inari Lake, the largest in Finland. It is the center of tourism in this region. 80 kilometers long and 41 kilometers wide, its numerous bays and rocky islands make it more than just a lake. The old Sami place of sacrifice, Ukonkivi, is situated on one of the lake's islands. Here, sacrifices were once made to the god of thunder, Ukko, or Old Man. This former heathen place of worship of the Sami still has a mystic atmosphere, especially as it's so remote. This strange world on either side of the 69th latitude has one of the most fascinating landscapes in Finland. Until late spring, the climate is most certainly Arctic. The ice on Inari Lake quite often takes until June to melt. But several residential and holiday homes are situated on the tree-lined shores of the lake. Tankavaara, once a gold prospector's village, contains a museum that covers the region's history of gold. Gold fever in the north of Finland. In 1546, Georg Agricola mentioned in his book De Veteribus Novus Metallis the possibility of the existence of gold in northern Scandinavia. Next, in 1836, at the mouth of the Kemijoki River, a local police inspector discovered 2 blocks of stone that contained veins of gold. And then it began. Fortune hunters dug for gold and staked their claims. The Golden World Museum provides a fascinating insight into those frenzied days and explains the various precious minerals that were discovered here. The search for gold in this region's rivers grew increasingly popular, and it soon became necessary to introduce various strict regulations to control the situation. Today, tourists can try their luck as gold prospectors in the small creeks of this once busy gold mining area. Indeed, they often sit for long periods of time on small wooden benches in the water, and with a little professional help, sometimes even come across a shining mineral that serves as a memorable souvenir. Napapiiri, the polar circle, marks the division of the polar zones from the temperate zones. Signposts indicate the distance and direction of some of the most important cities in the world. Fascinating facts. And this determines the distance to both the North Pole and the equator. Pajakila, the home of Santa Claus, is open throughout the year. Whether large or small, everyone is a friend of Santa. In the Arctic Circle, 8 kilometers north of the city of Rovaniemi, is a special attraction that pulls 600,000 visitors each year. Santa's main post office is busy every month of the year. Countless letters arrive from all over the world. Rovaniemi, the gateway to Lapland. There have been settlements here since early times. But in 1944, it was totally destroyed by the German army. The town's Protestant Lutheran church was burned to the ground, and so a new church was built, the 4th church building on this site, the Kirko. Generous donations from both America and Sweden facilitated its consecration in 1950. Beyond the church is an old burial ground and also a military cemetery. A large monument commemorates the Finnish soldiers who are buried here. Kirjasto is the Finnish name for library. Completed in 1965, the building was designed by architect Alvar Aalto. Kaupungintalo is the name of the city hall, the last modern government building that was designed by Aalto. Today, every modern city has a main shopping street and pedestrian area. Koskikato is no exception. It's a popular shopping center. Further attractions are the famous Arcticum Museum and the Jatkan Kantillen Bridge, a new landmark in Rovaniemi. The adventure in the wilderness began here for the region's numerous lumberjacks and gold prospectors. Ranua Zoo is the most northerly animal park in the world. It houses several indigenous animals, some of which are endangered species. The golden eagle is one of the most beautiful birds in Finland, and the park also contains many other large birds. Some of Finland's largest waterfowl are to be found here, where they're well and truly at home. In addition to the polar bear, the brown bear also attracts a lot of attention due to its fascinating antics and cute looks. The wolves, on the other hand, are always alert. They live in packs and walk around freely within a spacious enclosure. Red deer are one of this region's most docile creatures. Both roe and stag live in Finland's forests. Elk and reindeer are an unusual sight for foreign visitors. The small town of Chydenius is located within a forest south of Helsinki. It was here that tar was discovered, the black gold of the forest. Next to the old city hall is a large and impressive neo-Gothic church, including wooden buildings also designed by Engel. The church was designed to accommodate the many faithful for whom it was an important place of prayer following a hard working week. During the week, the men carried heavy barrels of tar. The barrels were then transported from the forest by rowing boat on a narrow river to the Baltic coast. For them, Sunday was a day of rest and also an opportunity to demonstrate their religious faith. Today, only the ruins remain of a fortress that the Swedish king Karl IX had built on a small island for the protection of a new settlement. When the Russians conquered Chydenius during the Nordic War, they also destroyed this strategically important fortress. Further south is Nurmes, the city of birch trees. Its most famous attraction is situated by a small lake. On the banks of the lake, a replica of a Karelian village was created with the Bomba House at its center. Timber architecture with an age-old tradition. The Bomba House was named after Yegor Bombin, who constructed the largest house in today's Russian region of Karelian. A massive wooden house painted in characteristic black with open beams and artistically designed rafters. This Karelian village is a lively centre of tourism and very popular with those who appreciate the atmosphere of bygone times. The annual Bomba Folk Festival takes place here. A little further south is Uuka. It was here that a unique 3-million-year-old natural stone was discovered. Today, the stone is put to practical use. A natural treasure that also provides a source of income for the local community. Different types of stone flooring are manufactured here and exported around the world. Exclusively designed stone ovens are in great demand. Various images are carved out of this primeval material, and newly created stone bowls are evocative of the Stone Age. There's also a wonderful exhibition of crystals that were discovered within the primeval stone. An intriguing sight. This precious stone with a soul is extremely versatile and appealing to the eye. One of Kerimäki's landmarks is this timber-built church that was built in 3 years by the local people. The largest timber-built Christian church in the world has an interior that is 45 meters long, 42 meters wide, and 27 meters high. A 37-meter-high dome was built above a cross-shaped ground plan. The huge interior is bright and friendly. The artistically designed glass chandeliers and crystal glass adornments of the Kerimäen Kirkko are a truly memorable sight. In 1894, this masterpiece of carpentry was transformed into an organ. However, the church can only be used during the summer months as it cannot be heated. This extraordinary sacred building with its galleries, circular arches, domes, posts and wooden benches can accommodate a congregation of 5,000. The rector believes that half his parish are able to hear the word of God simultaneously. Olavanlinna was founded in 1475 by the Danish knight Erik Axelsson Thot, a mighty fortress with 5 towers and many sturdy walls. It was repeatedly attacked by the Russians and, following a siege in 1714, was finally captured. The Russians improved and enlarged the fortress, but in 1721 the Swedes finally regained it. Today, many prestigious operatic performances take place here. Peace has returned to this region at last. Savonlinna is a town that originated around the Olevanlinna fortress, center of the extensive lake district of Saimaa. This is a very popular area with water sport enthusiasts, who seem totally undaunted by the annual arrival of midges. A town in the shade of a fortress. It has often been destroyed, but frequently rebuilt by its courageous defenders. Measuring 4,380 square kilometers, the huge Saimaa Lake is Finland's largest lake and the fourth largest in Europe. Here there are dense forests and also a timber industry that transports tree trunks via the area's natural resources. And yet this complex labyrinth of water and small islands has managed to retain its natural beauty right up to the present day. The Finnish Lake District is the blue-green heart of the country. The time-honored idea of connecting the lake systems with the Baltic was realized in 1856, on the same day that Tsar Alexander was crowned. The 58-kilometer-long Saimaa Canal. It flows close to Viborg into Finnish Bay and was a major achievement of its time. The narrow canal once traveled through endless forests, and its 28 locks were designed to negotiate a height difference of 76 meters. Today, the canal has been shortened to 43 kilometers and contains 8 locks. The second oldest town in Finland is Porvoo, 50 kilometers east of Helsinki. It has a river, a castle, and an historic and picturesque old town. A whitewashed cathedral dominates the townscape. It was built in the Middle Ages from discarded rubble and also served as a meeting place. In 1809, the foundation stone of the country's independence was laid here when Tsar Alexander vowed to honor Finnish authority. The old town is of medieval design and has been extremely well preserved, with cobbled streets and colourful timber buildings. A stroll in the town's lanes is like travelling through time and into the novels of Astrid Lindgren. Colourful wooden houses, neat front gardens, and the atmosphere of an idyllic town. Picture postcard perfect. An ancient centre of both trade and culture. country that boasts more lakes than any other, full of picturesque natural beauty, unique cultural treasures and historic locations. Finland, a tranquil paradise set in the extreme north.